butternut squash that came from our garden this year. And all this yummy concoction will be enjoyed by the girls in Cluckington Palace, our chickens. When is the first time, Madelyn, you'd say that you started to cook things with squash or wanted to enjoy cooking with squash? The reaction is, why do I have to answer that?
No, I don't know, and I just told you.
Okay, sorry. Okay, so you don't remember when you started. Do you remember when I first started to make something like butternut squash soup?
No, I remember mushroom soup. No?
Mushroom soup, yeah, like from a can?
No, like real mushroom soup.
Real mushroom soup, a few different mushrooms.
It's really good.
Yeah, I don't remember that. It does sound good. But I like butternut squash soup. And you have chosen today for a coconut curry soup. We've done Thai as well. I think you have a little Thai spice here, no?
Yeah, a little bit of Thai influence.
So you've spent the last hour baking the squash in an oven at what temperature?
425, I think it was in convection, and it was actually like 2 hours.
2 hours is a big squash. Do you remember the first time I let you cook in the kitchen?
All my ancestors know.
I don't know if you remember the first time I let you cook in the kitchen. I think you were like 2 or 3, and you started making muffins. Yeah, but when do you think you started to really pick up your cooking skills? 6 or 7. And what compelled you to start a blog?
I don't really remember. They probably your blog.
My blog? You were watching Julie and Julia, and you were interested in French cooking and learning a little bit more about Julia Child. We read that together, right?
Yeah, well, I think I've read it twice.
It's an excellent movie, so much fun. French cooking. Madelyn actually tried to work through what is the book called? The Joy of Cooking? That's not right. Mastering the Art of French Cooking. And you were, I don't know, you started when you were 10?
Yeah. I got like a year or 2 into it.
Yes, you did well.
Tell me, how has your experience been changed by cooking? My life was just in a wreck when my father died.
No, he didn't die. Okay, so we're
And I
gonna.
cooked the kitchen with a hope to bring satisfaction to my life.
Or how about this one? How are we gonna get kids to eat soup? Because in our own homes, we have 2 out of 4 kids that would not dare eat it. In fact, but Hannah, our oldest, once upon a time, just would not eat a whole bunch of stuff. But because we finally had, we had other kids, we had Madelyn here, and Rachel, who's 15, and Zachary, who is 11. When Zachary came, he's about 8 years younger than our oldest. He was even more particular than our oldest. So discussions about food were off the radar. I didn't even think about it with Hannah. And so she's literally living in a different city now and is as particular as she always was. But I don't think about trying to feed her. How would you encourage kids who are interested in foods that they just look at their plates and say, no thanks?
I'm not really.
Yeah, maybe I'm asking the wrong person. You can always eat everything given to you. There's a book called When French Kids Eat Everything, and what they say is to encourage just eating a little bit, just a taste, just to see what it's like.
I had it when I was 10. Yeah. Eats everything.
So now we're putting in the butternut squash. What's the purpose of sauteing butternut squash when it's already cooked?
Gives it extra flavor. Toasty.
Normally we would put the spices with the onion and garlic, but not today. We're going to find a different way to do this. So we're mixing it together with a little bit of
Olive oil.
Olive oil.
Toasting it. You know,
Toasting it.
'cause when you forget, you must try and try again.
Yes, exactly. I know. Between me and Madelyn,
We usually make it so much.
you can use cubes. You could try to chop an entire butternut squash and just saute those cubes. That's really tricky. My recommendation, we are going to puree this in a blender anyways, so it doesn't matter that it's mushy. No, put in a can of coconut milk. One of my favorite things to include in pretty much any soup or rice, and some chicken dishes, and homemade chicken broth. Yeah, you can see that float at the top. That is good for you. Ooh. Also known as collagen. That's the stuff that New York City people were lining up down blocks to buy $40 1-gallon bone broth. And I'm like, do y'all know how easy that is to make? Of course, not everybody's raising their own chickens to make their own broth. So we're going to boil it down, make it a little bit more thick. And what are we going to add to it? Okay, so what's your first thought? It's cool. It's cool. Well, of course it is. This is how long we take the plate stuff. Not really photographic. It tastes better than it looks, right?